Hello, hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at a new to me challenge. I believe it may actually be the first one for this challenge, the first year for this challenge, just based on the name. Since this is volume 1, I'm assuming, but I'm not 100% sure. So let me know if that is incorrect, and I apologize if it is. But from my understanding, that's what it is. So it is Once Upon a Year by the Marginalia writer, I think is how you say it. But I will go ahead and pop over to show you the beginning of my journal because, as we know, I like to make electronic journals in Canva specifically because I find that that's really easy for me to utilize. I can do it on my phone. I can do it here. I can adjust things as as I need to. But this is the first year or the first volume, which is the Book of Beginnings. So, as per always, I like to put sort of the little beginning welcome intro that is given to us. A quick summary is that there are 4 chapters, and each one has quests, festivals, and sort of side quests, as it is, that aren't all 100% reading. Just as an FYI on that one. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. And some of it is sort of launched at the beginning of the year, but a lot of it is launched on an either quarterly or monthly even basis. So you won't necessarily know what everything is right up front. So you can't even possibly do the entire thing of a year of planning all at once. You have to take it as it comes, which is not a bad thing, just a little bit different than some of the other challenges that I've done. And I kind of like that. It forces you to take it a little bit more slow. At least that's how I've thought about it. You're like, okay, well, this is what my plans are for this period, instead of going like, whoosh, here's the entire year laid out. Which I could see the good for both of them, but I am wanting to get away from planning my entire year all at once, because then I end up with like a million things that I really need to and or want to get through all at the end of the year, because I have been adding books that I wanted to read on top of the things that I already planned to read, and it just spirals. So hopefully this will be a good one for me. So one of the things that is available in this particular challenge is a market square in an enchanted caravan. So the market square is available all the time, and you'll see it in a minute. What I've sort of set myself up to be able to track it very easily. I will likely also have a spreadsheet, just because I know me. But there's a way to track it in the journal that I've created as well. See which one I like better. But the market square, you're able to make purchases at any time, and the Enchanted Caravan has like extra special things. There are 2 different types of coinage. You have your tokens, and you have your, I think they're called coins or something along those lines. We'll see them here in a second, but these are tokens. So you get these for festival prompts or side stories, and only those. And then you can use them to purchase things to like change your prompt or that type of stuff. So you can see here, you can swap it to replace a companion quest with any prompt of your choice, and you get like a 2 for cheaper deal. If you buy double at the same time, you can replace a core quest as well, same sort of situation. They just cost more to do that. And then the higher level ones are to be able to instantly complete any core companion choice of or any companion quest of your choice. My understanding is that if you choose to do this, you don't get any points for it though. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that, but that is my understanding currently. And then same thing, you can choose to get 2 for cheaper kind of situation. I am utilizing, hold on, this little green token to sort of signify in my brain that these are tokens, they're not the other coinage, and then I have gold ones for that coinage. So anytime you see the green one, it is the market square things that I can purchase, or purchase things at the market square with that coinage, things that I'm earning with for those, versus the other. So this is my token bank. I've got it so I can figure out how many, like per each chapter, which is per quarter. A chapter is a quarter. And so how many festival prompts did I do? 3 points times however many equals that many. Side story is 1 point for however many is that many, and then the total. And then I will know what my bank is for each period. Now, I probably should go in and say like used on here as well. Like I didn't think about that, but I can put another bullet and do used, which is why I think having a spreadsheet may be easier. I don't know. We will do both, at least for the first quarter. See how I'm feeling, since this is a new one. But this is the plan for that. And then I get into my first season. The beginning of every season, I have put the picture that I used on the front page with each of the different seasons signified. And so the first one was snow for winter. So the realm in winter, and then I have the little bit that is from the booklet for this one, talking about it's cold months and shimmering snow and the hush of winter, all of that. So you can see, I can go back and look and see what was there. And then there's a story for every section, and in that story I've underlined and bolded the phrase that you'll see in the actual prompt, which I thought was a really cute way of doing it, turning it into a story, but you're pulling something directly out, and it kind of links it all together. And I like that. I think it's a really cute way to make the challenges sort of all work into the thought of it is a storybook. So great job on that. I really, really liked it. So first is the core story. So there are 5 points each. There are 5 prompts. The first one is a mystery or thriller set during winter, which my plan currently, and this is all subject to change, but based on what I'm reading elsewise for other challenges and what I think will be available on my library, time-wise for the first 3 months, mind you. It's not the first month, but it's 3 months. I'm going to be doing The Life We Bury, which is a January book club book, so hopefully I will get that in January. If not, I'll read it in February, but I do need to get that knocked out. And then a book with dual POV. I'm choosing The Christmas Tree Farm. I couldn't get it in time for Christmas, but I should get it in January sometime, hopefully. And I've read 1 through 4 with the exception of this one, so I figured let's go ahead and put that in there so that I am caught up to where 4 is, and then I can move forwards if I want to. They're cute books. I like them. Most of them have been a 3-star 4 spice level so far of the 3 that I've read. And so I would say they're not something that I would normally pick up because they are all contemporary romance. And I kind of contemporary romanced myself out of being in that mood during the beginning of last year, because I read a ton of contemporary romance at the beginning of last year. And I've not really been in the mood for contemporary romance, and I'm very much a mood reader. But they're cute, and I've been picking them up to fit into prompts, specific prompts of like, oh, that would fit, whenever they have. But otherwise, I'm not really like finding myself reaching for them. But I wanted to be caught up so that most of the stories are standalone, but they have little bits and characters that interact. You're like, oh, that character's in book 1. Oh, and I like those little Easter eggs. So I wanted to get caught up so I don't miss any more going forwards. Then I needed to roll a d6 and then multiply by 100 and read a book with that, with at least that many pages. So I got a 3 when I rolled. So Small Magic has 360 something pages. Let me double check. But I do know it's in the 300s. There it is. Small Magics, 342. Wonder what's 368. There's definitely a book that I've seen in the last 24 hours that had 368. Do I remember? No. But 342 pages, so it fits in that category. And then I have yet to read Grimstone. I feel really bad about it because it was a book I was gifted. I need to read it. It's also on my I'll get around to it later challenge that also needs to be finished. So I went ahead and popped that on here. I also don't have that many books that were gifted generally. Like I don't own a lot of books. So put that there, and then I can move it onto my shelf because right now it is on my bedside table. And then for a book with immersive setting or standout world building, I went with the standout world building section of that and said When the Moon Hatched because I would like to read the second book in 2026 and I can't do that until I finish the first book and I have not done so. So there we go. I need to finish that one. It's a sort of obvious next steps, right? Then we get to companion quests. Again, story is written out and it all ties together, which I think is adorable. It's fabulous. It's like, I feel like that's too many words, but I think it's cute. I like the theme. And when I like a theme, I'll definitely say it. Like, remember when I liked the one from Dungeons and Book Dragons, and it was like, this is a street, and they have all the different things, and there's this one, and you turn the corner, and I loved it. So this is another one I thought was a really cute sort of vibe. Anywho's, next up, companion quests. So there are 5 again here. These are all worth 3 points apiece. So the first one is a book featuring friendship or found family. And I found a list that had Dungeon Crawler Carl on it saying that it fit this category. So hopefully it does. I'm reading it for Her Kid 1.0. So, or at least that's the plan right now. Either way, even if I don't, I suggested that my husband read it, which means I will end up reading it with him. So yeah, I'll put that there. A book that is at least 75% blue on the cover. I chose The Secret Book Society, which is, I think, at least 75% blue from the picture. And yes, they are all faded. And then when they are not faded, I will bring them into a vibrant 100% transparency. So that's my thought. I mentioned it on a previous one that I was thinking about going that route. Let me know if you think that that works better or what an idea potentially could be for showing which ones are done and which ones are planned. But anyways, this is one that is also a book club book, so I will hopefully get to that very quickly. It's not going to get to me in January, I don't think. There's a possibility, but I don't think it'll get to me in January. So I do want to try to get it done in Q1. Either way, even if I can't read it for the actual book club, that way, you know, when we're chatting about things in the future, I will be all caught up. Graphic novel or manga that I can finish in one setting. I chose the next One Piece. My husband had a whole bunch of them, and I'm working my way through them. I'm only on number 8, but that one is a physical book that I can go grab and very quickly get through. So I'm going to go ahead and count that one. A book that includes a cafe, tavern, or bookshop. Shadow's End is the last of the Lizzie Grace novels by Carrie Arthur, and it has a cafe because Lizzie owns a cafe in the town. So it would have to be kind of crazy for it not to have a cafe because every other book in the series, she's owned the cafe. So the cafe should still exist in this book. Fingers crossed. And then the Village Read is the chosen book for everyone to read together. And that one is Everyone in My Family has Killed Someone. I've already read it. So if I want to get the discussion and everything with everyone, then I would need to read it again, which isn't a bad thing. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed it less than the one on the train, and I'm currently reading the Christmas one, which is adorable. At least conceptually it's adorable. I'm about halfway through it. You read a different chapter every day for like an advent calendar, but for a book. Super cute. Anywho's, next up, why am I saying that so often? I don't know. It's like almost 1 a.m. A little bit of grace, please. On the anywho's and the ums. Our side stories. So this is a section that is not necessarily reading related, but it is reading adjacent related. So every month there are 3 side stories that you will complete, and each of them, I've only seen obviously January's, but it seems like each of them will not be a necessarily reading prompt challenge, but something else related to it. So as an example, the one for January is to put together a list of 26 books I want to read this year. Anticipated releases, series continuations, books from a TBR shelf, or anything you want to prioritize, share it with the group, or keep it as my personal reading roadmap. So I will likely take the opportunity to go in and make sure my series checklist is up to date, everything's good there. And then also, I haven't finished everything for 52 book challenge or for, well, the Romanceopoly or a couple of other challenges. So I'll probably count that. And then I put a spot for a picture on there. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll take a picture of the video, or maybe I will take a picture of like a screenshot of the actual list. I'm not sure. I do know that it's going to be way more than 26 though, because the likelihood is I'm going to probably prioritize and say, hey, I want to finish this series, this series, this series, and do it that way, and click that series as a priority, but that will end up being more than 26 books. I probably won't finish all of them though. Anyway, so when I finish them, I'm going to put the picture in and then make the checkbox dark, which you can't see the checkbox because my face is in the way, but there's a checkbox in the corner that I plan on making like dark, like I did for the pictures of the book covers, since there's not a book cover for these. The next one is the book stack challenge. It says a set of photos, so a set would be 2, or at least a minimum of 2. I mean, are we thinking mathematical or like purchase at a store? Anyway, a set. There's a minimum of 2 here. So following a set of photos following a theme to build your own book stack. For example, 3 cozy reads, 3 mugs of warm drinks, or 3 magical objects. Be creative with how you assemble your book stack. So I don't have a lot of books, so I may have to figure out if there's a way for me to do any of these virtually, or I'm going to have some really interesting book stacks. Maybe some stacks that are about like food related hobbies I plan on doing, or gluten-free books that I purchased in the last year that I'm working my way through, stuff like that. But everything else is like, I have a couple of like partial series. I mean, I have some books that I've had since high school. Maybe that's one we can do. I'm not sure. So I will have to play around with that. I have all of January to do it, so it's not a huge deal. And then the last one is a share a photo of a gift you always wanted as a kid but never received, or a photo of your favorite gift as a kid. I don't remember a lot of things from my childhood, especially like gifts and things like that. I do know that I had a fabulous like dollhouse that my dad made, but I don't have a photo of it. And I know that there were a couple of things, like I know I got some dolls and a tea set and things like that, but I don't have photos of them. So I may have to go with prompt 1 and or find like an alternate, be like, it was something similar to this, because I don't actually have photos of those. My parents may have photos somewhere of them, but that's 30 something years ago. I don't know. Well, depends on how far we go back. So I'm 36, I think. So, yeah, I should be 36. Am I 36 or am I 35 still? Jeez, I may be aging myself. I think I'm turning 36 this year. I think that's what it is. Anywho's, that's it. Moving right along. The festival is the Storyteller's Feast. Or what did I do there? I think that's an accident. That shouldn't be there. Yeah, this shouldn't be there. That's an accident. So we get to February, the 3 there, March, and then we get to the festival. So like I said, that wasn't supposed to be there. I made a mistake. I'll go delete that. So same situation. You get a bit of a story with all the pieces underlined, and then you get into the actual feast, in this case. And so there are 6 prompts, and you get 3 tokens for each of the prompts. So if you remember before, I was saying points, and now I'm saying tokens. So these are things I can spend at the market. Well, I also said 1 token for the, you get it. So for a book chosen or recommended, I'm choosing Uprooted. My husband recommended that. And then Through Gates of Garnet and Gold is going to be a book I only read at night. This could be swapped out, but this is a fairly short book, so I imagine I'll probably literally just sit down and read it, or read it on the way home, or no, I'd have to do it on the way home from choir or dance if I was going to read it at night. But yeah, that could very easily be done only at night. If I read another book only at night, I'll sub it in, because there's a lot of times I read a book 100% in one evening, especially if it's an audiobook that's a shorter audiobook, meaning like in that 300 to 400 pages or less. Over 400, it's not usually just at night. It's usually like over an entire day. But 300, that can easily be done, especially on a weekend, on an evening. A survival, isolation, or locked room type story. So I found The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I don't remember if it just popped up on my Libby or if someone was talking about it as I was scrolling through Instagram. But it is a locked room story. Specifically, it says it is. But that is literally all I know about it, other than the fact that it is a Christmas-y story. And I had wanted to read it during the Christmas season, but it will not be available for me right away. So I can't read it in Christmas, so I'll read it when it's still snowy outside. A book with drinks, food, or recipes, or shared meals. So I had 2 options on this one. The first one is The Long Quiche Goodbye, and the other one is, oh goodness, what was the name of that book? It had to do, it's another one, oh goodness gracious. The other one, it has to do with being, it's a bard in a bar. Oh goodness, I haven't read it yet. I literally just put it on my Herkied 1.0 list. So I may pick that one if it comes in sooner. Whichever one I get to first. They're both going to be read for Herkied 1.0. So either one doesn't really matter. The next one is a book with the moon, stars, sky, or celestial imagery. So I chose stars above because it says stars in the title. And there are a couple of different versions of this cover of the book. So, you know, I could choose a different one if I need to find one that has actual like stars on it, but I thought that it would fit even with this particular cover because it literally has stars in the name. And it is the last of the Lunar Chronicles. I finished Winter, which is the end of the story. This is like additional, like an almost epilogue slash additional story after the end of the main tale, from my understanding. And I like to finish the entire thing, give me all of the lore, especially on books series that I love. And this is one that I definitely loved. Lunar Chronicle series, I adore. If you haven't read it, it's a YA series. I definitely suggest it. And then a book that is considered a classic, I went and looked at my classics list and then cross-referenced that with what's available coming up from the library, and chose The Invisible Man. Because I am working my way through the classics list that I have not finished yet, that I started this year. So then I have my chapter 1 summary, where I can go in there and do a little summary about what happened, or I could potentially delete this, but I thought it would be fun potentially to like make my own sort of end of the chapter summary or like annotation type situation, since this is a storybook, right? And they've got all the different pages. Anyway, let me know what you think. I think that could be cute. I haven't decided 100% that I'm going to do it, but I did go ahead and prep it just in case I end up going that route. I've got a month or so before I have to really think about it again in any depth or detail, but yes. And then I have the next one, which is spring, and I'm just going to flash through these. I don't have any of the prompts. They all say TBD. It's mostly just to show you what the vibe is, because I went through and went ahead and did that. So the realm in spring is the next one. It's just all the same things. And all of these prompts are the prompts from winter. So ignore the prompts. They're just so that I could move on. The same thing, it says chapter 1, it'll say chapter 2. I don't have that graphic yet, so therefore I couldn't take the graphic from anything and pop it in. So it's the same for all of these. I'm going to quickly scroll through, blah, 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 blah. And then we get to summer, which I chose a beachy vibe for that one. And I had to build this. This is not all one graphic, unfortunately, which is why some of it looks a little bit different on, like, the sun, for example, doesn't have the same look as the umbrella, as one example. But yes, I tried to keep it similar and on vibe, at least, if nothing else. And then we get into autumn. And that will be the end once we get to the end. So then there's my points bank. Remember I said they are gold, and exactly the same setup there, being able to quickly see how many I earned each time. This one I don't need to have a amount removed or spent because it doesn't matter. It'll be the total for the year equals to what level I get. So, for example, for the points earned, I put the title there, or the total, and then depending on how many points I have, I get either novice, keeper, or master of the Book of Beginnings. And then I just figured I would figure out what my total is for the year on tokens as well, because tokens do roll over, points do not. At least I'm fairly sure on that. Oh, and the graphic is gone. There should be a graphic for the tokens on the right. I don't know why it's not working. Sometimes it just, when I do presentation, it goes away. Like it freaks out. I don't know why. Anyway, so then I have the rewards list on here. This is more of a just reminder for myself, so I don't have to go back to the packet. I can just look really quickly here. There are 3 levels, the novice, keeper, and master, and depending on what you get different things. So for example, if you are level 2, you get a special shout out in the wrap up for the year. If you're level 3, you're going to end up getting tokens to use next year and you'll be permanently featured in the Hall of Legends. So depending on what level you do, you get a certain amount of tokens to spend the next year. And you get different amounts of shout outs and Discord rules and badges and etc. And it also says that you're going to be able to unlock a companion quest pack for next year if you're at a level 2 or 3, which is interesting. I don't know what that's going to look like, other than that obviously you'll be able to earn more points and or tokens. Does that necessarily mean we're going to get more, just a whole nother set of like, here's another 5 prompts here to earn you potentially 15 more points? Maybe. But we'll see. We'll see next year. All right. And that is the end of this particular journal. I am looking forward to giving it a go. This is one that is sort of more of on a quarterly basis when it comes to the prompts, which is good because I'll be able to be a little bit more lenient with myself and be like, okay, well, these are what you're planning on reading for all of your other challenges. So let's fit those in where they go, and then how many spaces are left? 4, 5. Okay, we can do 1 or 2 of those a month. At least that's the sort of thought on how I'm going to manage this particular one. I'm starting working on my January list of like what all is going on for prompt wise that I need to work on, and it's mostly seeming to work that way. Not completely though. At least it looks like it's not, because I don't have Herkyed as its own slide with the like prep, their like spins. So I may have to adjust that, but we'll give it a couple months, see if it's working, adjust, pivot. It's supposed to be fun, but also a challenge. And I hope to finish this one out. We'll see how it goes. Let me know if you are completing this one as well. If you have any suggestions for books that I should read in quarter 1 that could potentially sub out for something else I've got in there, especially if it's a book that I maybe don't have to get through in this quarter. So like Stars Above, I don't actually have to finish that one. That's to finish a series. I could do it in quarter 2 if I needed to. Invisible Man, same situation. Recommendation. There's quite a few challenges that if I didn't actually mention, hey, I am reading this for a book club, it can be pretty easily subbed out. So let me know if you have suggestions, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!